All right, so welcome to NoFap day 338. It is currently 9:31 a.m. and I've slept for about like 11 hours plus. So, yeah, I just basically went to bed at 10 and I just woke up naturally at let's say 9:15 or something. Maybe I've stayed in bed for 15 minutes or something like that, but yes, I slept for a long time. and yeah, it is time to get started with the day. I'm gonna go to the bathroom right now. I'm gonna hop in the cold shower, have a shit, weigh myself on the scale, weigh in, log that shit in my fitness pal, take a progress picture for my bulk, for my gym transformation journey, and brush my teeth. And what else? Yeah, that's pretty much it. And then I'll come back here, get my clothes on, make my bed. Right. Can you? Here you got it. Yeah. And then I'm gonna start working on the protocol that I'm doing, the ebook that I'm writing currently. It's about NoFap. It's like all the lessons that I've learned about NoFap during my time on it so far. So yeah, I struggled with NoFap for like 2.5 years, but then now in like I'd say last year, I've been fairly successful. I haven't checked off once, so yeah, it's pretty good. And I'll be basically making an ebook it'll be for free. It'll be in my free community, and I'll also turn it into a video course and an audiobook as well. So people will differ with different consumption preferences can consume it the way that they want. And yeah, that's the plan for this forenoon. After that, I will have some lunch, and then I'll have the first accountability call with my NoFap group. I'll basically hold the guys accountable, see if anybody's jacked off, laugh like crazy at them if they have, shame them to prevent it from happening in the future. And then after that, I will meet up with my dad and speak about some stuff when it comes to school and how I'll do with my living situation in later this year. Well, it's some stuff, and then I'll eat food as well. I'll have lunch before that, but then I'll eat more food probably, and then I'll go to the gym. And then I'll have the final call of the day, or what am I saying? Not the final call. I'll have the second call at 4 p.m. And then I will have, more food probably. And then I'll meditate, and I will have even more food probably after that because I'm bulking quite aggressively. I'm at like 3,500 calories a day, 4,000 calories a day. That's the goal at least. And then after that, you know, that's pretty much it. I'll have the final call at 7 as well, and then just kind of unwind for bed. That's more or less the plan today because I haven't got any school because it's like a federal holiday here in Sweden. So yeah, that's the plan. Let's hop in the cold shower.
You don't know me, son.
Okay, so now I've done all of that, and the time is 9:57. So took a pretty long time, but okay, it is what it is. We'll get it more efficient and more like just faster in the future. Like basically just speed up our morning routine and become better at doing it so that we save more time in the morning. But okay, we're gonna get to work now, and now there's nothing else for me to do. The bed is made. Got my clothes on. cold shower, brush my teeth, all that shit. Weighed in at like 85.1 or 3 kg. So yeah, let's fucking get to work, bro. All right, so it's currently about 12 p.m. and I've finished my writing block for the day. I did about fucking stick I was sitting on. But I did about 90 minutes of writing. Started at about 11. No, what am I saying? 10, right? And then I finished at about 11:30. And the reason that I finished a bit early today, because usually I finish at 12, was that I had like I'd say pretty profound realization, or a bit of I like to call them internal dialogue prompts. Like I got an idea and I was like, I can't figure this out. Like what is the answer to this, right? And usually when I hit a wall like that, when I get an idea and then I try to solve it, I try to figure out the answer and then I continue writing. When I can't do that, when I can't really break through the wall, when I don't get to the answer, then I like to go on walks. I feel like I can think very clearly when I'm out in the woods, specifically in the forest. I'm on like a nice field right now. So what I was thinking about was that, like, what is truly the goal with NoFap? Like, why are we doing this stuff, right? And the easy answer will be to stop jacking off, and that is like largely true, I'd say. I do think that, however, the kind of the deeper answer is to have the ability to resist sexual urges. So hear me out. At least for me, like having the ability to resist the feeling wanting to jack off, that was like at the like on the most deep level, that was what I wanted, right? I didn't really want to have to run away from the urges to try to escape them, to set up my environment in a way that is conducive to me not getting more urges, right? I didn't want to act like a scared man, right? That sounds wrong, but okay, like if you are trying to basically minimize the intensity and the variety and the quantity of the urges that you get, you are by definition trying to avoid them. You're trying to escape them, right? But I do think that that is a pretty like it's not a great strategy, for the simple reason that you won't be able to get away from the urges forever. Like you will get strong urges at some point, as long as you're a man with two testicles. Like come on, it's gonna happen. And so like I think that strategy is quite flawed, because like why not just get the ability to resist the urge no matter what, like acquire the willpower, instead of trying to optimize your environment that way and shit. Because it's like you're gonna get the urges at some point anyway. Like if you've been on this journey for a while, you know that some days you don't really have the urges. You're just strolling through life, like doing the stuff they need to do, like going to school, working on your business, going to the gym, eating, whatever, speaking with some people. It's like a normal day. But sometimes you'll just have crazy ass urges for no reason. Like you'll just be at home doing some normal shit and you'll just get a random semi. Like I was in the car last night driving home from the gym and I just got a random fucking visualization of like a fucking chick from the gym giving me like a road head, right? Just like and just got a fucking in the middle of the fucking car drive, like sometimes that's gonna happen, maybe less frequently when we get older, but I think during this time of our lives, if you're kind of similar to me in age and whatnot, we are going to get urges like basically no matter what. And I think we have a responsibility to be equipped with the necessary tools to resist them when they inevitably come. I think so, at least for me. And so I was like, well, if that is the goal, if the goal is to acquire the ability to resist the urges, because long term, that is a more reliable way, in my view, to actually not jack off than to try to fix your environment and that kind of stuff. And I've been of this kind of approach since the start of this year, basically. Actually, like I think on New Year's Eve, like on the January 1st, I stayed up all night. I was trying to inaugurate the year with like an all-nighter, with a sleepless night, because I was watching like the finale of Stranger Things, which was released at like 2 a.m. Sweden time. So yeah, but I went on a walk in the snow, and it was great. It was like almost a blizzard. Nobody was out. It was a pretty surreal experience actually for me. When I was out on January 1st in the morning at like 7 a.m., having stayed up all night. Yeah, I went to this place, like the meadow that I'm on, and actually made a video. Like you can check it out on my channel if you want to. I'm not sure what day it is, but maybe like 200 and like 200 and maybe 50 or something like that. I'm not entirely sure, but something along those lines. And yeah, that was when I kind of realized this stuff. But today, when I was writing, I actually kind of got the idea of taking it to the next level, I think, because I was reading through my old protocol that is about productivity, which I wrote in 2024. I spent like 250 hours on it. Like I wrote for like 8 hours a day for a month during the summer break of 2024. And yeah, I've kind of discontinued that project for now. At least I haven't done anything to it since. I still think it's really fucking good. It's about how to basically do more of the stuff that gets you the results, right? It's about how to eliminate the distractions, how to figure out what tasks are the most productive for your goal, and so on. And I think it's great, and I'm very confident that in the future, I will for sure release it or some version of it. I'll probably update it in the future, maybe rewrite it, but I'll for sure release it at some point. And I was reading through it because I wanted to get some inspiration for a specific thing that I wanted to have in this ebook that I'm writing about NoFap. And I was reading some of it and I was like, yeah, like I was talking a lot about mental distractions and how to basically get the right kinds of thoughts and feelings to increase productivity. Because if we take an example, right? If you are super horny, let's take a NoFap example. If you're super fucking horny, you want to jack off, are you going to be less productive when you're working on your desk, like writing some stuff, like for me, writing an ebook, or if you want to, for example, do some school work? Will you be more or less productive if you have like crazy fucking urges? Usually that will distract you, at least in my experience. And so what I wrote about back then was how can we basically prevent, how can we prevent getting weird thoughts and weird feelings while we're working so that that doesn't distract us. And if we take another example in terms of the how adrenaline and sort of neuro like biochemistry can disrupt productivity. Like if there's a if there's a tiger, right? If there's a tiger outside of your fucking door that is trying to claw his way in and break through and eat you up, like, right? Like you're probably going to be less productive working on your business if that's the case, right? Because there's an external variable that presents a risk to you. Like there's a threat. It's there's a problem to be dealt with, right? And if that is true, if you have a if like because to me that is just that you're perceiving an external threat, and if you're perceiving something external that disrupts your productivity, that is something that we want to get rid of, right? It's not that we want to be out here like doing, let's say, our homework or schoolwork or business work or even like physical activities like gym. Like why would we want to even try to acquire the ability of doing those activities while distracted? Like why not just remove the distractions? Because the thing is, with working like on your laptop, let's say, like you can't always control the physical things in your environment. Like you can't always control whether let's say you can have headphones on, whatever, earplugs, to minimize the sound outside. You can remove all the visual distractions. You can draw the blinds, the curtains, right? Like you can control so much many more of the variables when you're working as opposed to with NoFap, because you could just get an urge like this at any point, and that is pretty much the only variable that is like that's it. Like you either have an urge or you don't. That's the only thing that can distract you. So with NoFap specifically, 100% of the things that could compel you to jack off, you don't have direct control over. With knowledge work and productivity in that sense, you have significantly more control because you can set up your environment and you can not eat before you work so that you don't have as much brain fog, or you can do tactics like that. You can work at the times that you feel the most energized and so on. But with NoFap, it's pretty different because you can get urges at any time and it's pretty difficult to control them. Um, Even though there are some things you can do, I don't think it's a very reliable strategy. But what I was gonna say was that I was thinking about like, should we apply that strategy to NoFap, like trying to get rid of the triggering thoughts, the triggering emotions themselves? Like, for example, you would probably agree with me that you usually feel the most compelled to jack off. You feel the most horny when you're either tired, let's say you're lethargic or anxious or lonely, bored, these kinds of negative feelings. You're probably not very compelled to jack off when you just had an amazing conversation with your mother or with your friend and you feel really happy and so on. It's usually when you're in these kind of lower emotional
I was going to say frequencies, that's a term a lot of people use, but I'll just say lower emotional states, like you feel worse. That's all it is in my view. You're probably going to be more likely to jack off if you're in one of those mental states. But the thing is, you aren't going to be able to control that shit all the time, right? Like you're not going to be able to control if you feel bad. You're going to feel bad at some point. And I don't think that's the way to go in terms of NoFap. Maybe I'm not making it super clear, like the difference between productivity and NoFap, but hopefully you, to some extent, get my point. So it's like I was reading it and I was like, well, if that is not the approach we want to have with NoFap, then shouldn't the goal with NoFap be to get as many urges as we possibly could, right? Because like if we get a huge amount of intense and repetitive and like what's it called, like frequent urges to jack off, and we can resist all of those, then we will basically supercharge our ability to resist the urges, our willpower. And if you can resist like 10 out of 10 urges for 10 hours straight, then you'll probably be good like the vast majority of the other times when you're going to get urges, because you're not going to get those kinds of urges all the time, right? And so when 5 out of 10 urges comes your way and you have it for 20 minutes, which happens all the time, right? It'll be nothing. That's the point. But if you have no experience in resisting urges, the 5 out of 10 urge will feel harder, right? So if that is true, if that's the case, if we want to get a lot of urges, then like why don't we do the behaviors that will get us a bunch of urges, right? Which, this is gonna sound a bit weird coming from a NoFap YouTuber guy, but like if that is the goal, wouldn't the behaviors that induce the feeling of wanting to jack off be like basically looking at girls online, like basically watching softcore porn or even normal porn, right? It's totally disgusting. I agree with you there. But in terms of my experience with that kind of stuff, like when I used to jack off, that would for sure be a eternal. Like you like it's pretty simple. Like you'll probably get more urges if you look at girls online than if you don't, right? In general. Now, what one could do based on that information is to look at girls online all day, every day, right? And maybe that's a good strategy, who knows, to get the urges. And then of course from that point you need to resist them. And that's the key point. You can't just look at girls and then jack off. Like, the point is to get the feeling of wanting to jack off and then not indulge in, right? So it's that was a thought that crossed my mind. But then there's also the component of hedonic adaptation. So basically hedonic adaptation is that when you do something that feels good, at a certain point you will habituate and the stimulus will no longer be reinforcing, basically. So if you think about what addiction is truly, in terms of the science, it is a narrowing of the things that bring you pleasure or joy, right? So for some people that are addicted to heroin, the only thing in the world that is stimulating to them that makes them feel good is heroin. And a lot of that comes down to dopamine, which is a molecule in your brain that regulates motivation and so on. We don't have to get into the nitty-gritties of that now, but in general, when you do something that is very pleasurable repeatedly, at a certain point it will become less pleasurable and you'll need to up the intensity and the variety of the thing to maintain the pleasure, right? You probably felt this with jacking off. If you start edging, right, it feels really pleasurable, but then as you keep edging, it just feels less and less pleasurable, and you need to up the into the severity of the porn that you're watching, right? It's kind of like that. And then when you actually do bust eventually, you feel so much worse than you did before. Your energy has gone down, and then in order to jack off again, it's much harder. You need to fucking try to stimulate yourself even harder and more and so on. So basically, according to this theory, if we were to look at girls all day, like fucking softcore porn, basically, or even normal hardcore porn, then that would only work if there were time windows where we did not. Because if we did that all the time, then we would no longer get the same extreme urges, and we would need to up the porn all day, right, or all the time, which would be fucking insane, right? That wouldn't be practical, or even like, that would just be disgusting. But either way, the thought that actually crossed my mind was that maybe a strategy of like complete deprivation of any sexual urges, like at all, we do everything that we possibly can to minimize the amount of urges that we get. And if we do get the urges, We do everything in our power to not change our behavior based on the urges, meaning we don't indulge in the urges at all. You don't jack off, edge, watch porn, softcore porn, anything, right? You don't even look at girls. But then, let's say once a week, this was my idea. Once a week, let's say you spend the first half of your day doing the things that you got to do, like you work on your business. Let's say you go to school, whatever. If you have to do that, you work out, you get your calories in. But then for the, let's say, the second half or the third, the fourth quarter, whatever, of your day, you spend that time basically trying to induce the urges like crazy. You look at girls online, like softcore porn. You might even watch porn, right? You're in bed. You're basically like either on your bed or in bed. You're in your underpants, whatever. You're tired. You just came home from school or some shit like that. You do some exhausting activities before. You stimulate your dopamine receptors before and during. So you'll play video games. You'll eat junk food. You'll do everything in your power to make your willpower in the moment to resist the urges go down as much as possible. This sounds crazy, I know, but hear me out. So you'll have extremely difficult urges to deal with because you'll one have been deprived of this thing for a pretty substantial amount of time. Like most guys cannot go 7 days without jacking off, or at least they won't, right? Or they don't. So you create this deprivation. You don't even, the second you get a sexual thought during the remaining days, you just push it away as soon as humanly possible. You don't indulge in anything. You try to, as soon as you get a boner, you try to do everything in your power to get rid of it. You try to deprive yourself of intimacy, of sex, of any feeling that is associated with that as much as humanly possible, to then on, let's say Friday night, right? Like a freestyle Friday. You just freestyle, you do whatever you feel like, right? Apart from jacking off and stimulating your penis. That was actually the word that I came up with. That like a freestyle Friday. It's actually from it's like a chess term, like an online chess term that I've played chess online before and stuff. But freestyle Friday, maybe like you like you do everything in your power, like all the bullshit. Like you eat junk food, you stimulate your dopamine receptors like crazy. Maybe alcohol is too much, but like you play video games, you watch YouTube, and you fucking watch softcore porn and shit. You do that. And then let's say you also like actually watch the softcore porn, like the sexual stuff, right? And then you're in the right environment. Like let's say you're either home alone or you're in your room by yourself. You don't have people around. You just you're in bed. You're in a dark environment. Shit like that. You're in your underpants. Like if you imagine the scenario, like how difficult would it be to resist the urges? Probably pretty fucking hard, right? You'd have all the variables stacked up. But if you could resist urges for that long, let's say for an entire an entire evening, let's say from 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. or something like that, if you could do that, then you would probably be able to resist most other urges, right? That would probably give you such a huge opportunity to practice the skill of resisting sexual urges. Would you agree with me there? Probably, right? Now, I'm not fully sold on this idea. There are still like for sure a number of flaws with it. I'd say the biggest one is probably the dopamine factor. Like having an entire like half a day like that when you absolutely kill your dopamine receptors, I do think it will probably have a negative effect on the next day. I think for sure maybe the day after that as well. Although apart from that, I don't see too many issues with it, apart from the fact that it's obviously disgusting to watch porn and shit, and maybe like people will develop more of a cuckish association, like an observer kind of association with sex, by watching porn or seeing fucking softcore porn on Instagram or Pinterest, whatever. But in general, I do think the strategies is quite like I haven't really I haven't done that shit, but when I think about it this way, I do think it will be really effective because like you are getting huge opportunities to resist the urges. And if you can do that for, let's say, 90 days, right? Because my free NoFap community and my free coaching is called like the NoFap, the 90-day NoFap protocol. The 90-day NoFap fast lane is or that's not the official name of the coaching, but there's probably what I'm gonna name it. But the community and the course that I've made already, they're called like the 90-day NoFap protocol. And obviously the 90-day thing is pretty notorious within the NoFap space. Like when you reach day 90, you're gonna levitate, and that's true. Like I can do that shit. But yeah, man. And according to the neuroscience of breaking habits and kind of breaking associations between activities and reinforcements. So in NoFap, it will be like between the act of jacking off and the reward that you get, like the physical sexual stimulation. To break that association, according to like the science, usually takes about, I think on average, they did a huge study on this and it was like 67 days. And so at that point, you're going to be way less likely to indulge and your willpower is going to be way higher, right? So, because for me, like I still get like sexual urges. I still get a morning titanium basically every morning, right? Like I got a rock hard this morning when I woke up after like fucking, what was it, 11 hours of sleep, right? But like, it's not like I'm actually considering jacking off, if that makes sense. Like the thought doesn't cross my mind. Like I still feel compelled to have sex. Like I get visualizations like crazy. I get like lyrics from like rap songs that I've listened to in the past that are like sexual and stuff pop up in my mind in combination with like girls that I've seen and shit like that. Like basically visualizations of fornication. Really. I still get that. Like, of course I do. It's like, what did you expect, bro? Like, they're not gonna go away. Like, would you want your sexual desire to go away? Would you want to be like a fucking eunuch, like like a dongless man? Like, would you want to have no testosterone and no virility, like no fucking manliness, if that's what you want to call it? Like, I think it's having sexual desire is a symptom of being a young, healthy man, right? There's nothing wrong with that. Absolutely not. I think I'm a huge proponent of families and like I think there's nothing wrong with sex, like in general. Of course, I think casual sex has a lot of drawbacks, and I'm not personally indulging in it. But I'm not anti-sex. I'm not asexual, right? So like I still get that shit, but I'm actually like I don't get the thought of like fucking like I don't get it, bro. It's not that I'm not. I haven't been close to doing that shit in a while, right? And I would actually say that after a couple of months, that was when that kind of association really broke for me. And so I do think that if you can go 90 days without jacking off, like following this protocol, like once a week, super fucking indulging in everything, apart from jacking off, right? You're allowed to do anything you want apart from jacking off, right? Apart from stimulating your penis. I want to make that clear. You can watch porn, you can do anything apart from doing that. Because if you can do that, if you can resist those urges for that long, you'll probably be pretty good, right? That's what I was thinking about this morning. So yeah, man, it's should be about 12:30 right now, and yeah, I should probably get back and eat some food, and yeah, that'll be it, man. I'll have the first call with the boys in a little while. It's like it's wild, bro, because like this, I've never heard anybody speak about NoFap like this, you know. But if we actually think about it logically, it does make sense, doesn't it? I think so. Not like it is disgusting to watch porn. No fucking shit, it is. But like sometimes you gotta do shit that you don't want to, that you don't like, right? Now some guys watching this are gonna be like, oh yeah, I think this is a great idea, Lou. I can watch porn. Like, bro, you cannot jack off. That's the thing, and you cannot do it more than, let's say, once a week, right? You cannot do it every day, because if you do it every day, I do think that you will be desensitized, like you will habituate to the stimulus. The external variable will not affect you the way that it does if you only are exposed to it not as often. So that's the key point. You can only do it relatively infrequently, but still pretty regularly. Or to be honest, I think it's a pretty good idea to be like, maybe we should actually do it like this. Instead of having it set on one day, on Fridays, let's say, we're gonna have it to be variable in terms of the day that we're gonna do it. Because then your dopamine levels for the thing are gonna go up even more. If, let's say, for example, let's say you have some software that every 7 days, or let's say like you have like a number generator, right? Or you can basically like throw a dice, right? Throw a dice, and then based on the number of the dice or whatever, like basically that every single week it is different, like the day you can jack off, right? You don't know. So every single day you're waiting to see, is this the day? But then every 7 days on average, you'll get to basically like, or did I say jack off? I'm not sure. But basically every 7 days on average, but still different days, you'll get to indulge in your cravings, but not fully. You'll not actually be able to jack off. You'll just basically get a lot of urges and watch weird shit, right? Because the thing with having surprises like that, it's that it fundamentally increases dopamine levels more. Like it increases motivation even more when you don't know when you're gonna get the reward, but it just happens like this. Usually, that's the key point. Like with, for example, gambling. If people knew that they were gonna lose on average 25 cents on every dollar that they spent on casinos, I'm not sure what the exact math is, but I could assume, I could generally see that being the case on average. If people knew that every time they put in a dollar, they were gonna lose 25 cents, nobody's gonna fucking do it. But it's the variability that I think is really important. Like you might not get anything, you might get $0 back, but then you might get 0.5, and then you'll get 1.5, and then you'll get 0 again, but then you'll get $5, right? And that 5 is so strong. I think like I'm not exactly sure how the biology works, like the biochemistry, but I'll look more into it for sure. Like the neuroscience of habit setting and dopamine and how variability and these kinds of things affect the habit loop and stuff. But I do think that would be quite a great idea if we did that. Like every 7 days, people can super just fire up and get like such strong urges, but then still resist them. If you can do that, if you can resist the strongest urges ever for hours every single week, I think you'll be really good. So yeah, those were my thoughts this morning, and it is time for me to, I guess, get back to the grind. And yeah, man, let's go back home, get probably some eggs. I'll see what I'll eat, and then I'll take the first call with the boys, and then I'll link up with my dad as well. So yeah, let's do it.
To be fair, my theory might be completely crazy. It might not be something that I will recommend to anyone or take action anyway on myself. Just the thoughts that I had this morning. And sometimes, yeah, you'll just have like kind of shower thoughts just come to your mind, like new original thoughts. And I think it's like it can be really important to give them some time and give them some thought, because sometimes the R will change everything. So I'm not saying that this strategy is something that like I will espouse myself or anything like that just yet. I will keep it in mind. I will speak to some people about it and see over the next week, however long it takes for me to make a decision to kind of take some variables into consideration, and yeah, maybe I will speak more about this stuff, but until then I'll just keep doing what we're doing. Now, another thought that I just got was that maybe we shouldn't even watch any short, like a softcore porn, any hardcore porn either. Like, do nothing like that. No jacking off, no nothing. Just try to get as many urges to jack off and do that shit as much as we possibly can. So, for example, fucking up our dopamine receptors, like playing video games or eating junk food, these kinds of things that will generally create more urges. Like, you can think about your life. Like, when do you usually get tons of urges? Like, maybe it's when you've just come home from school. Maybe it's when you're home alone, when you're in your own like dark room and stuff like that. Maybe you're feeling comfortable. You have like some snacks or some shit like that. You're watching a movie. Whatever the conditions would be for you to maximize the sexual urges. Maybe that is the idea, actually, to do that. Because like maybe you could say that, watching porn and softcore porn is like that is indulging in and of itself. So yeah, man. Yeah, it's for sure interesting to think about. So, because like the idea that we want to get to obviously is that we want to be able to not change our behavior negatively based on sexual urges. And so the idea is to get as strong urges as humanly possible, which like we'll probably get by looking at weird shit, right? But yeah, maybe that's not the way. I'll give it some more thought and speak to some people. Yeah, man.
Ugh. Okay, so it's currently 6:25 p.m. and I've just finished my food. Not for the day. I'll have some more food when I come home from this walk, but I'll go out to the woods, meditate, and I'll take the final call of the day with my NoFap accountability group. See if any motherfuckers have been jacking off. Hopefully not. And that's the plan for now. And then after that, I'll come back home, eat more, shower, brush my teeth, plan tomorrow, journal, read, go to bed. That's it, man. So, yeah. I was at the gym, did some shoulders, triceps, and back. Pretty short workout, but we're working on it. We're getting back to the normal schedule. So, yeah. That's right, man. I watched some How to Train Your Dragon Race to the Edge during my meal, which is like a Netflix series that I've seen many times since I was like maybe 12 years old. And yeah, I've always loved it. And I do think it's like, it really is not that dopaminergic for me to watch it. I don't feel like it spikes my dopamine a lot. I don't feel like it stimulates me that much. I don't feel like for example, with chess, like following a sport basically online and playing video games, like there's a lot more novelty and variety in the stimulus, I feel like. And there's like, it's actually live, like it's going on. So there's way more like anticipation associated with it, as opposed to just watch like a pre-recorded series, like a show and stuff. Obviously I don't intend on spending time on it outside of my kind of mental aid stations, as David Goggins calls it. Like when you eat food, or when you're on the toilet, or when you're in the car or whatever, when you're going on walks, those are kind of your like you could call them mental aid stations. So it's like between your grind blocks, between your work and your workouts and your let's say some other stuff. People have school, homework, whatever you do, whatever activities you do on a daily basis. The time windows between the activities, you could call them mental aid stations. That's what David Goggins calls it, which is someone that I look up to immensely. And yeah, I think it was just pretty enjoyable. I feel like when I do watch, you could say, indulge in some nostalgia like that, I feel like I'm more kind of motivated to keep going on the grind. I feel like I'm more invigorated. I feel like I have more to grind for, right? In some sense. So I do feel like it increases the likelihood that I take the remaining actions that are required of me during the day. So yeah, I was like, okay, I'm gonna eat this food for a little while now. I may as well, turn some fucking How to Train Your Dragon on the TV. So it is what it is. I don't see a huge problem with it. Yeah, maybe I won't do it as much going forward because it is a tiny bit of a stimulation thing, but I feel like it's a nice break, And sometimes when you are doing quite a lot of thinking in your work, when you are doing something intellectual, and you need to get kind of aha moments during your work sessions, and you need to make sure that your brain performs at best, sometimes I do think it can be wise to take your mind off the normal, usual grind. Like, I'll be thinking about NoFap quite a lot. I'll just be walking through my day thinking about how I can help more guys stop jacking off. And
I feel like sometimes taking my mind off it can help. Then I'll usually end up having more, I'd say. Like if I take my mind off it for a little bit, I'll usually increase my overall productivity because I won't like run around in circles mentally, and I won't kind of exhaust myself to the point that I'm not actually producing any meaningful ideas. So yeah, it's just a little thing that I like to do sometimes. Obviously not to exercise. I don't want it to influence my actual activities that I'm going to be doing anyways. Like I don't want to be changing my behavior based on it, based on the urge of watching Netflix, right? It's like if I'm gonna do something that doesn't require any attention, it just requires basically time and energy. Like eating food is just like a mechanical thing, it doesn't actually require any thinking, right? Obviously, I weigh my food and that kind of stuff, but I do that beforehand. I'm not trying to weigh my food and track my macros while watching a Netflix series, right? But okay, yeah, that's what I did. Now the plan is to go out to the woods, and I'm on my way. Let's do it. Look, he's so beautiful. Wow. Yeah, the deer have grown increasingly less shy over the years. Like 5-10 years ago, you would never see deer roaming around like this and just staying super close to humans. So yeah, it's very interesting to see. I guess they're just habituated. So, yeah. Alright, so now we have returned to the bench, to the meadow, and we're gonna do 15 minutes of meditation before we hop on the call at 7 with the boys. Check out on everyone. So yeah, let's do it. All right, so it's currently 8:45 p.m. or 8:46 p.m. to be exact, as you can see right there. And yeah, man, I've done everything that I set out to do today, except for obviously the last few things that I'm gonna do, like journal on my phone and read a chapter in bed right here. I'm not sure you can see that, but okay. I'm on my bed right now. So yeah, man, it's been a great day. I had quite a lot of food after the final call of the day for me at 7. So at like 7:30, I had like quite a lot of food. Um, so yeah, it took a bit of time. So I'm not going to bed at my exact bedtime, which is 8 p.m. But overall, I'm happy with the day. I can't really think of a single decision that I made that I shouldn't have made, like that I knew in the moment was bad. Like I think I did basically everything that I thought was right. Maybe I finished watching the How to Train Your Dragon episode after my second meal of the day for like 16 minutes right before going to meditate. Maybe I should have not done that and just went straight out to the woods and meditated and got more meditation done. Maybe that's what I would have done. Maybe that's what I should do going forward if I happen to get in that situation again or those kinds of situations. But otherwise, I'm really happy with the day. I've been super productive, so yeah, it's been great. And in terms of NoFap, I've had some sexual thoughts lingering through the majority of the day. I had some intense uh, urges, or I'm not sure you could even call it that, but I had some sexual thoughts for sure this morning when I woke up. But since then, I haven't really had a lot. I was at the gym, saw some chicks there. It's all right. Like, didn't get too much from that.
like too many visualizations or whatnot. But it's all right, man. Like I haven't been close to checking off obviously today, so that stuff is going well. Yeah, it's like just like I'd say pretty frequently today. I've just had like visualizations pop up and shit like that, and maybe distract me sometimes. But it's like it's fine. It doesn't really do anything, so it's okay, man. So yeah, it's been a great day. I'm looking forward to getting into bed and falling asleep, reading and journaling before, of course. But yeah, man. Tomorrow I'll be going to my grandma's place in another part of the country. I think me and my mother will hop in the car at maybe 9 a.m. and we'll drive over there. It's like a few hours away. And, yeah, it's nice. Yeah, I like. It's like I don't know for how. Okay, I'm not. Let me not put it that way. So, I'm not sure how many more times I'm going to see my grandmother. So it's like I would like to see her. So yeah, it's just going there. I'll still be able to do work and shit. It's all right. I'll still be able to take my calls and meditate and maybe I'll work out in the morning or I'll take a rest day. Who knows? We'll see. Um, yeah, it's all right, man. I'll get it done. I'll read. I'll meditate. I'll listen to podcasts and stuff. It's all good. So yeah, probably we'll stay there for one night and then come back home uh, on Sunday. So yeah, that's the plan, bro. Let's get into bed right now, fully and you know, turn off this light right here, and yeah, just yeah, get to sleep. It's been an awesome day, man. I'm really grateful for you tuning into this video and watching through to this part of the video. I'm really enjoying documenting my journey, and I really want to get more consistent than I have been this year. So yeah, I'm looking forward to posting videos every single day, documenting my journey, and making sure that I don't lose the lessons that I learn going through this period of my life in the ether of time. Because I think that if you don't like kind of crystallize your lessons, you don't actually kind of write them down or tell them to people. Like if you just forget what you learn, the lessons that you acquire as a result of the things that you do or the failures that you get, right? Because we all do, then you may as well not have lived them, right? So like if you're gonna go through life and you're gonna have setbacks and you're gonna learn stuff, then you may as well kind of document it and crystallize it and make sure that you're increasing the likelihood that you take action on the things that you learn as much as possible, or the right ones, right? The right things that you learn. So yeah, I really like this process and I'm looking forward to keeping it up. And yeah, man, that's it. Stay strong on this journey, bro. It's a beautiful journey that we're on. I don't think many people in the world actually have been like successful on like NoFap. I think most guys are just absolutely addicted and they're just jacking off. And I do think it's a reason for why a lot of people lack motivation to pursue bigger goals and stuff. And yeah, I think it's a great journey that we're on in terms of old ideologies. Like all the major religions, they all preach basically to not indulge in casual sex or masturbation, which I think is for a reason. So I think it's a great journey that we're on. We're just gonna fucking do this shit, stay strong, and yeah, stay hard. Like David Goggins says, stay hard, literally, right? But yeah, man, awesome. So yeah, I'll see you tomorrow. Remember who you are, a light in the mist, and may Star Clan light your path always.